Marvel fans, we wouldn't be here without you. Thank you so much. I can't wait for you to see the Marvels.
What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. And somehow things continue to get worse and worse for the upcoming The Marvels movie. We've already seen where the pre-ticket sales are absolutely disastrous. Now we're starting to see pictures all across the country of empty theaters since the tickets have gone on sale. The must-see end credits scene has already leaked online, and the positive reviews that are coming out are pretty bad. Now remember, they are comparing this to almost an Endgame type of event, right? And we all remember how insane Endgame was. You couldn't find a seat for sometimes weeks. It was insane. And that's what they're comparing this to in some sense. So let's take a look at some of the screenshots of people's theaters throughout the country so far of how these pre-sale tickets are doing. So shout out to Night Ronin for posting this on Twitter. It says, IMAX, Riverbank, California. How does this compare to Endgame? And look at all of these empty seats. That is absolutely insane. And maybe some of you might argue and say, well, yeah, that's a 1:30 showing in Friday on the afternoon. Okay, that's fine. I get it. But if you scroll down here, here's another one. This is a 6 p.m. showing at a local theater. Friday night. Nobody is going. None. 0. 3 people in the back, it looks like. Excuse me. Well, we don't want to miss those 3 people in the back, right? Here's another one. The Marvels. How's your local IMAX pre-sales looking? Mine are 0. And when you pull this up, look at all of that blue. 7:30, 10:10, 2:10, all of these times, and nobody's showing up for this movie because nobody cares about this movie. So Quarter Black Garrett, I'm sure a lot of you know who that is, says, better buy my Marvel tickets early, gotta make sure I get a seat. And as you can see, Nerdrotic posted a picture of his theater where everything's completely open. Here's another one from Australia where it looks like there's maybe a handful, if that, of seats that are reserved. That is an absolute terrible sign for Marvel, and that falls in line with what they're saying about this projection of this movie, that this is going to do worse. This is going to possibly do worse than The Flash. Now remember, everyone's been talking about this end credit scene that, oh my god, it's a must-see. You have to watch this to see what happens next and how this sets up the future of the MCU. Well, it already leaked online.
Oh, what a loser! Good!
I'm not going to show it, and you'll see here why in just a second, but this does have major spoiler warnings, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you may want to skip ahead a little bit. So as you can see, the video was actually taken down because of copyright, but Kelsey Grammer's the Beast from the original X-Men movie shows up. She's in another dimension at the X-Men mansion. So they're trying to implement the X-Men, which scares me because I really like the X-Men. I take that back. I'm not scared. I already know they're going to destroy X-Men because they can't not destroy anything that we like. So I already know it's going to be absolute garbage, but this is the member berries they're trying to dangle to entice you to come see this movie, and guess what? It was already leaked and spoiled online. Besides just this little spoiler being put out, just besides all that, if you actually look at the positive reviews, like I mentioned earlier, they're not that positive. They're trying to come across as positive, but they're crapping on the movie and telling you how bad it is up front. So Clayton Davis here says, The Marvels worked for me. Female Avengers team-up movie packs in chuckles, cats, hairballs, and musical sequences. Much more episodic than a cinematic endeavor, but I think that's its greatest strength. Great post-credits, loved my leading lady trio, great visuals, Jersey City represent. How on earth does that come across as a positive thing that anybody would want to see? Chuckles, cats, hairballs, and musical sequences. That's what Marvel's turned into. Musical sequences. Not only that, but he's basically saying here, much more episodic than a cinematic endeavor. So basically, it's a Disney Plus show that they slapped on the theaters. That sounds amazing. Here's another one. Absolutely love the laugh-out-loud, body-switching comedy at the heart of the Marvels. The main trio get to be adorable goofs, and Iman Vellani in particular is a national treasure. I think I said that right. The big superhero plot doesn't come together as well, but overall a fun, low-stakes adventure. Ah, yes. Just what I want to see in a superhero movie. Adorable goofballs. And to think Marvel doesn't understand their audience. I went into the Marvels with extremely low expectations, and it wasn't half bad. Valania and Paris are easily the highlights. Love their chemistry with Brie Larson. Unfortunately, the story is a huge mess, with an underutilized villain and an underwhelming finale. So great movie, but the story sucks, the villain sucks, and the finale sucks. That makes sense. This is probably the best one. The Marvels is the most fun I've had at an MCU film in a while. While the actual conflict is convoluted and boring, and the narrative is a complete mess at times, the charisma and comedy lands most of the time, with Valani stealing the show with her feature MCU debut. Now, what exactly about this review is positive in any way, shape, or form? The conflict is convoluted and boring. The narrative is a complete mess. And the charisma and comedy lands most of the time, but not all the time. You basically said the movie's a big giant piece of garbage. But because you're a paid shill, you're not gonna openly say this was trash. Marvel is completely dead to me. Just like Star Wars is dead, Marvel's been dead for a very long time. There's nothing that they can do that I think is going to revitalize this franchise. Every single movie that they release, it gets worse and worse, and all you're doing is pushing more and more of the fans away because nobody wants this garbage. You keep pumping out shit content, you lose massive amounts of money, then you're like, well, it's the fans' fault. No, you're putting out trash. Why don't you actually use some source material? Don't change it for a modern audience. And honestly, at this point, just stop. It's over. The whole thing is done. It's over with. Personally, I don't care about superhero movies anymore. I would rather just read the books because this isn't it. This is trash. While any of these people are running this company, I have absolutely no faith whatsoever. But let me know what you guys think about all this down below. What do you think about the reviews that are coming out? What do you think about the post-credit scene that they released, if you've seen it, or at least now you know what happens in it? And what do you think about the pre-sale? Like I said, I don't think any of this is surprising. I think this movie is going to be one of the biggest Marvel bombs ever of all time, just because of how much money they've put into this, how there is no hype whatsoever about this movie, and literally nobody wants to go see it. This is going to be really bad, and it's going to hit their pocketbook pretty hard. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I always love to hear your thoughts. If you liked the video, hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Till next time, take care.